Oh boy, we have made a lot of videos on the budget PC, but this today is the final video on this budget PC, and probably one of, if not the greatest and most influential videos for the budget PC, because in this video we add some insane upgrades to this PC which affect its performance positively by a long shot. But that's not to say that we didn't have any issues or any hiccups along the way. Far from that. So, without wasting any more time, let me explain about how we got to this point in the final video about this exact budget PC. So after the last video I made on the budget PC, I looked at it and thought, there are definitely some things that I could upgrade inside of this PC. The first thing that I thought I could definitely upgrade was the storage inside of this PC. Because, I mean, typically, yeah, budget PCs don't really have that much storage, but nowadays, games take up loads of space. So I thought upgrading the storage, and not just the storage amount, but the storage type itself, would help the PC a lot. Secondly, I thought the case absolutely needed an upgrade, because, well, yeah, sure, this case did look somewhat nice and somewhat simplistic and slick, just like how I like it. It definitely felt like this PC needed something better, something more gamer-oriented, if you know what I mean. So the case was definitely another part that I needed to upgrade. And then another part which was definitely a must part to upgrade in this PC, and one of, if not the most important parts that I wanted to upgrade in this PC, was the power supply. Because the power supply was, well, this cheap, low-quality iPower 520 watt power supply, which, while it did supply quite a lot more wattage than we did need for this PC, it still needed a much more reliable brand, and the 12 volt rails were, well, let's just say far from questionable in a very bad way. And the lack of any modern day GPU connectors or CPU connectors, like an 8-pin CPU connector or more than just one 6-pin GPU connector, was definitely a limiting factor inside the power supply as well. So that was definitely a must to upgrade. And then the last but sorta optional part that I still wanted to upgrade, more for looks and for consistency rather than performance, was the RAM. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call this an upgrade. I mean, it sort of is an upgrade, but still I wouldn't really call this a massive or must-have upgrade. But I wanted to change the CSAM 8GB stick that I had in this PC with another identical 8GB 3200MHz DDR4 RAM stick from HyperX, just like the one I had in the other slot, so that not only would they match, but I could also activate some true XMP, and so that I could have true dual channel in this PC without having to sacrifice any performance or anything similar. But now that I laid down my plans and what I wanted to upgrade, now let's get onto the whole process, which, oh boy, it was a whole process of trials and errors. So the first thing that I did was I took out this PC and I tried to put it in another case which I already had. And yeah, the results were definitely bad. The other case I had was quite a lot more damaged, it looked quite a lot older, and it did not suit this PC. So I took the parts out of that case, I disassembled them, and let them sit there until I could actually find a suitable case. While I was looking for a suitable case, I also looked for a suitable power supply. But the power supply market was quite a lot more expensive than I actually thought it would be. But I managed to find this $500 TSF Windle, okay, I don't know how to say it, but it was a power supply I found on AliExpress. It was a white modular SFX 500 watt power supply, which I plan to use in a custom 3D printed case. That's right, I tried looking for cases online, but most of them were too expensive for my liking or just didn't really suit the build style that I was going for. And so I asked one of my friends that had a 3D printer if they could actually 3D print me a custom case. And so while I was waiting for the 3D case to be printed, I ordered the power supply, an identical RAM stick to the HyperX stick that I already had, and I also negotiated a deal with one of my friends where he would give me a few more SATA SSDs and a more powerful NVMe SSD, and in return, I would give him a few more parts of my own. And so one day I went to my friend's house, I took the SATA SSDs and checked all the NVMe SSDs he had to see what was the fastest NVMe SSD he could give to me that he didn't need. And I found this really good Western Digital SN100 NVMe SSD, which should be very fast, very snappy, and very reliable and high quality for our needs. And as for the SATA SSDs, I just grabbed a few more additional King Fast SATA SSDs, which were each 256 gigabytes and were each 500 megabytes per second, or the third generation of SATA if you're wondering. After this, the power supply arrived. I put together all the parts on a test bench, if you could even call it that. It was basically just a cupboard that I had, a small little cupboard next to my bed, which I put all the parts and assembled all the parts on top of. But yeah, I put all the parts together and I tested them out. And the results were good, but there was one issue. And this one issue was that the PC constantly crashed. No matter what I did, the PC constantly crashed. I undervolted the PC, I tried tweaking with the BIOS settings, I tried swapping some of the parts back to the original ones to see if they were damaged. Nope, the PC just crashed. Basically what would happen was I'd go inside of a game, I'd play for a few minutes, and the PC would crash. I checked the temps and other info to see if maybe the PC was thermal throttling or there were any other similar issues, but no, it was not showing any of those signs at all. And so then I completely reinstalled Windows because I thought, okay, maybe there's something wrong with the drive or Windows itself. Nope, still the same issue. I would play a game for a few minutes, and after entering a specific part, or entering a specific menu, or heck, even after just playing the game in general for a few minutes, the whole PC would crash and restart once again, which was so weird to me and so bizarre. And yes, if you're asking, I did swap the power supply. It was literally one of my first culprits when the PC started crashing, but nope, still the PC crashed. And I had no idea why this PC was crashing so hard. And as if that wasn't bad enough, basically what happened was the issue had become worse. Yeah, the issue had become worse. Not only was the PC now crashing, but the PC now had these weird glitching effects, and not only that, but the PC stuttered. And not in the typical fashion that you would see a PC stutter lag. The PC stuttered but didn't lag at the same time. It was like the menus weren't lagging, but the game itself was stuttering. And it was this weird form of stutter that I had never ever seen before. It was so weird to me. And one night randomly, while I was desperately messing around in the AMD Adrenalin settings for the AMD Adrenalin software for the GPU, I turned on a couple of settings, mainly OpenGL triple buffering, 10-bit pixel formatting, and a couple of other performance settings while undervolting the GPU at the same time, and this miraculously fixed all the issues. I am not even joking. I just randomly turned on these settings hoping that they would somehow fix the issue, and they did. The PC only very slightly and very rarely at some point stuttered, and it did not crash. It did not have any visual glitches or anything similar anymore. Literally almost all the issues in this PC were fixed, and the PC was almost completely back to normal, for which I was absolutely ecstatic when I saw this. And finally, now with the PC being successfully built together, fixed, and finally having been truly finished, now we can finally present, in true tradition for at least some of these videos, the final benchmarks, just like we do usually at the end of some of these videos. So before I go off and show you guys the benchmarks to end of this video, I really hope you guys enjoyed this mini project slash mini series of ours. I hope that we'll be able to go and work on many different projects like this one from now and onwards, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I want to thank you all for contributing to this series and supporting me along the way. Anyhow, that's it for this video, and now, without further ado, let's get on to the final part, which are the benchmarks, or should I say, the very final benchmarks of the ultimate form of this budget PC.